We're watching a very high-class player.
This is when you know AB de Villiers is at his best.
Friday, the 17th of November, and the semi-finals are done, both of them. Congratulations, India and Australia. I'm a little bit emotional. Obviously, you guys know that I thought South Africa would be there this year. Unfortunately, it was not meant to be. There are many, many reasons why, and I would like to cover all of that with you guys. It's been an incredible 2023 World Cup. I think both teams, Australia and India, deserve to be there in the final. Australia peaked, and I covered this a few weeks ago, probably 2-3 weeks ago, saying that Australia once again are peaking at exactly the right time in another Cricket World Cup. And India have not lost a game. So both teams deserve to be there. Very sad for South Africa, but it is what it is. So let's cover the first semi-finals then. And I would like to interact with you guys as well. We're going to have a nice interactive session. I want to know exactly what your thoughts are on both these semi-finals, where you think both teams lost it, where both teams won it, who were the impact players, and who were the guys that didn't have as big an impact as they were hoping for. First semi-finals, India against New Zealand at the Wankhede Stadium in Bombay. What a fantastic performance by Team India. Runs on the board in knockout games is always a good idea. Not so much for South Africa, obviously. Still think it was a good idea for them. We'll cover that pretty soon. But 397 for 4, Virat Kohli getting another 100. His 50th, overtaking Sachin Tendulkar. There are 113 balls, over a 100 strike rate. And just a very controlled innings. It wasn't the innings that won them the game. It was the innings that set everything up for the entire batting lineup who could just have a lot of fun. And I think of someone like Shreyas Iyer, who broke the game open for Team India. And had he not played that, I think Team India would have been in trouble on a very good wicket at the Wankhede. New Zealand were forced to take chances earlier than they were hoping to in their batting innings. And that's what cost them the game. But congrats to Virat, my brother, man. Another record. And there he is. I mean, look at him. Most centuries in ODIs, 50 hundreds. How is that even possible in 279 innings? Incredible list of players there. Virat, Tendulkar, Sharma, Ponting, Jayasuriya, Hashim Amla. Virat tops that list. And congrats to him. What a fantastic achievement. I think there's many more, but he could not have done it at a better time in a semi-finals of a World Cup. I saw Sachin's tweet or ex-post about Virat. Very kind words from Sachin, talking about how he met Virat and how Virat had to go through a prank and thought that when you meet Sachin, you have to touch his feet. So Virat did that, and they're still laughing about that to this day. And Sachin just basically congratulating him. And there we see most runs as well for Virat in a World Cup edition, 711 runs, and he's got one game in the bag, overtaking Sachin, Matthew Hayden, and Rohit Sharma there. It's just an incredible tournament for Virat Kohli. He's gone from strength to strength. We've called this 5-6 months ago. I think I was talking on Twitter or somewhere, talking about how Virat looks different and he looks fresher. He looks light on his feet. And it was almost like a charge just building up, and then it just exploded, and he's in the form of his life. So yes, just incredible World Cup. And Sachin's tweet read, "The first time I met you in the Indian dressing room, you were pranked by other teammates into touching my feet. I couldn't stop laughing that day, but soon you touched my heart with your passion and skill. I'm so happy that the young boy was grown into a Virat player. I couldn't be happier that an Indian broke my record, and to do it on the biggest stage in the semi-finals of the World Cup." Very kind of Sachin there, and absolutely spot on. Moving on then to that next slide. Sorry, I just had to read Sachin's tweet. It's not often that he posts something, and that was quite a nice post from him. There's the innings I was talking about, the game breaker. And we were talking about Shreyas Iyer before the start of this tournament. I was saying that I was hoping to see him in the side. I don't know if he was going to get game time, but luckily the selectors or whoever made the decision to make sure that this guy starts did a very, very good job. 105 of 70 balls. Now, just to give you an idea, if he goes by a runner ball in this innings, they lose almost 6 overs. 6 overs, people. If you add another 6 overs to the New Zealand innings, I mean, it's a different ball game, all right? So you need innings like this. He could not have done this without a Virat knock. So Virat set it up, and Shreyas Iyer just came on and just broke the game open and basically took it out of reach for New Zealand, forcing them to take on guys like Shami with a new ball earlier than they would have liked to. And that's never a nice feeling for a batter when you feel a little bit trapped, you feel a bit anxious. It's the 15th or the 20th over. You know you need another partnership or a partnership for another 15 to 20 overs. You can't just go. But looking at the run rate that you require, you just have to take some chances. And this innings is what put the pressure on New Zealand. So congrats to Shreyas Iyer. Incredible 100. And then moving on to the New Zealand knock, they were under pressure from the start. They laid a nice foundation, but it's always been an issue in the New Zealand camp. And I think of guys that missed out in this tournament for them, someone like a Martin Guptill that can score you 100 off 60 or 70 balls. I don't feel that New Zealand had a batter like that in this tournament who could break a game open and score 120 off 70 balls, or do a Maxwell innings or a Quinton de Kock innings where you go at the strike rate of 150 plus. I mean, it's a fantastic knock, but in all fairness, chasing 400, a strike rate of 112 is not going to win you the game, I'm afraid to say. Very good player. He set it up, and it's not his fault. They don't have enough game-changing batters in their lineup, and I feel that's where New Zealand lost that game. Obviously, not taking all their chances with the ball in hand with it in that first innings, but at the end of the day, if you want to chase down on a good wicket, you need someone to score at a strike rate of 150 plus. All right, moving on then. Let me just read here something my backroom staff is telling me. Back in 2012, Sachin was asked who he thinks could break his record. He predicted Virat and Rohit. They were all in the same room in that event. Very, very cool that Sachin said that in 2012 already, that he thinks Virat can break his record. And here we are today. All right, the man of the moment, the guy who breaks things open for Team India in the bowling department. He's had a phenomenal World Cup. In the semi-final, only going for 57 runs in 9.5 overs. That's economy of 5.79 when they're defending 8. I mean, that is simply incredible. 7 wickets. He's a wicket taker. He's a man of the moment. And the minute New Zealand started feeling the pressure, they brought him on, and he just broke the game open. I mean, it's as simple as that. Mohammad Shami, when you have to hit him off those hard lengths and the ball's just moving around with that perfect seam, it's really tough. And then the fastest to 50 ODI wickets, 17 innings breaking Mitchell Stark's record there, and also Lassit Malinga. 17 innings for 50 wickets in World Cups. That's simply remarkable. Congrats to Mohammad Shami. He's definitely got a big role to play in that final as well in Ahmedabad. And, it's so exciting. Talking about the final, we're at a World Cup final again, people, and it's Australia and India. A repeat of the 2003 World Cup. Very exciting. It's come down to the climax of this tournament. I was very impressed with the crowds we've seen in the last few games. It's been building up. I know there was a lot of concern early on in the tournament that we're not getting the traction we wanted in this World Cup. But then thinking about it, it was a long World Cup, but now it's heating up. The crowds are there. Everyone's buying in to the climax of this tournament, and it's very exciting. Congrats to Shami then, closing down the game. And then I think it's time to talk about this one that I've been reading. I didn't want to talk about this too much. You guys know my heart's broken. I thought the guys tried really hard. Where do we start? I don't want to make excuses, but I'm just going to analyze the game for you guys. So first innings, very unfortunate, in my opinion, that there was a bit of rain around. After winning the toss, the covers were off, and it's almost a toss you didn't want to win. But Kolkata, this whole tournament, Eden Gardens have been bat first, you win the game, you get some runs on the board, and you're going to be fine. All of a sudden, the ball was swinging, it was nipping around for 10 overs. The whole pitch just changed. I mean, in a matter of minutes. And it was just too difficult after winning the toss to say, you know what, we're going to bowl first. It's always too much of a risk. So that was not the main reason South Africa lost this game. Looking at the second innings, you were still in the game. Fantastic by David Miller. And the crazy part of this is David scoring 100, and then we lost out in those last 2 to 3 overs thinking we didn't have enough runs. I was sitting at home thinking, if we can get to 230 here, we're going to be in this game. And I can show you proof. I've sent the text out to some WhatsApp groups that I'm on. The guys were saying 275, more than 215. I said, guys, you don't need that on this deck. Look at how it's starting to turn. Yes, we lost out in that first 10 overs, but if we can just stay in the game, anything over 230 was going to be, I felt, very competitive. Less than that, still in the game, but unlikely, which proved to be pretty accurate. And there's Mitchell Stark, who put us under pressure in that first 10 overs. I mean, that no one was expecting this. And the minute Stark and Hazelwood took those new balls, they just started grinning and going like, oh, we've seen wickets like this before. And just incredible. I mean, that wicket has not played like that this whole tournament. South Africa rocks up there in the semi-finals against Australia. All of a sudden, they swing and see movement. Pretty unfortunate. But I thought they fought incredibly well thanks to David Miller. The guys just, they were just very resilient and weathered the storm. And then a couple of tweets moving on to that second innings. David Miller helped us to get to 212. It was quite coincidental that it was very similar to the semi-finals in 1999, where both teams got 213. Sorry, not the semi-finals, the pool stages, the last game. It was the semi-finals, the tie, sorry, with Lance Klusen and Alan Donald. I'm getting a cold sweat just talking about that. But let's cover the second innings quickly. The popping crease. David Miller got us to 212, and the popping crease says here, in this first World Cup, Gerald Coetzee was simply outstanding. South Africa started incredibly badly in the first 10 overs. Once again, I chatted with my friends on a WhatsApp group saying the first 10 overs will be very dangerous for South Africa. If we can just keep the run rate down, let them get 40 to 50, just get into the game, because the new ball flies off the bat. Australia were always going to come out and attack the first 10 overs, and that's ultimately where we fell behind. What a great comeback by Gerald Coetzee, Kes Maharaj, Adam Markram getting that first breakthrough, and really getting us into the game. And then what it comes down to, I'm going to talk about it to you guys now with a poll. Maybe you should vote. Where do you think South Africa lost the game? So we can talk about the bowlers, you can talk about the batters. I want you guys to know. I want to know from you guys, do you think that the fielding played a big role? I saw a quote from Anil Kumble, which said, catches win your matches. And ultimately, that's where South Africa lost the game. Let's quickly cover Quinton de Kock here then. As you can see on the screen there, he's played his last ODI. What a fantastic player for South Africa over the years. I was there at the start of his career. I've always been very impressed by him. And unfortunately, last night didn't go his way and was a sad ending to an incredible ODI career. So congrats, Quinny. Very, very proud of you, my young man. He's still a young man, but luckily we'll still see him in the park in other formats and also the IPL and possibly some other T20 tournaments. And then just to quickly cover that quote from Anil Kumble, I'll get to this on the screen in a minute. The difference between the two sides was the fielding. The result might have been different if South Africa had taken their catches. And there's the popping crease saying, if South Africa just took half of their dropped catches, they could have won. Catches win your matches. Unfortunately, it's been a trend over the years. I think of Herschel Gibbs in '99. In every World Cup that we've lost, there's been mishaps, either by runouts or by catches in the field, things that you can control. You can't control a good delivery when you get out as a batter. You also, when you're bowling and a batter is playing the knock of his life, you can't control that. You can do as well as you can, and that's what you can do. But a drop catch, a run out, a missed run out, there were so many opportunities. I think of the run outs that we missed last night. There was one clear one. I can't remember who threw the ball in, but he decided to bounce it and it popped up. I think a nice flat direct throw to Quinny de Kock, and that's it. Very small margins. Marnus Labuschane's LBW call, umpire's call. Only 5 overs later, he got out. Same with Steve Smith's drop catch. I think it was Smith or Labuschagne, doesn't matter. The long and the short is they were allowed to have a 5 to 10 over partnership, which ultimately cost us the game because of drop catches. 2015 also missed some chances. 2011, there was that run out when I got run out. Silly little mistakes that South Africa keep making in World Cups, and I've been a part of that. You can't explain it. It's really difficult to say, but my message to the Proteas before the start of this game was it's small margins that win you knockout games. And that's what it came down to. Unfortunately, the small margins didn't go our way. But yes, I think it was a valiant effort, but I feel that the drop catches cost us. Moving on then, there seems to be quite a bit of. I'll get to this final in a minute. Just coming up for our captain Temba. There's been a lot of criticism on him. I mean, it's so easy to talk after a match, and it's quite. What's the word? It's quite sad to see supporters of South Africa and the Proteas do that. I mean, the least you can do is just keep your mouth shut and you know what? Be sad with the guys. And yes, they didn't play well. And when you're braaiing with a guy, you have a barbecue, tell your friends how bad the guys played, and I'm very sad. And now I'm going to move on. You know, there's no need, I feel, to try and break someone down. Temba's intentions were good. He felt like it was meant to be for the Proteas, for him as captain. Since when a guy's got a little niggle in his hamstring and he pushes through for his country, is it a bad thing? How can that be negative now all of a sudden? You go on and win that game and everyone's saying, wow, what a captain. You did it. Like Graham Smith, when we lost against Australia in Australia in a test match, he went to play with a fractured hand. He came back on and he gave it a go. And it was like cheered on. Wow, that is so amazing. Now Temba is prepared to play with a semi-niggle, just show guts and glory for the team. And he gets criticism for that. I mean, it's just weird. I don't know how people react like that. I'm broken. Okay. I also feel we've lost the game there and there and there and there. But why do you want to go break people down after their biggest loss of their lives? All the players on that park yesterday that you watched have been working towards that moment for their entire careers, entire lives, literally. You grow up as a 4 or 5 year old and you pick up a cricket bat and you get your opportunity there and you miss out. You've given your best, you're in tears, and people go like, you are a coward, you lost it. Why? Anyway, I hope you enjoy it for those of you who are like that. Anyway, it is what it is. Let's move on to the final then. Very sad. As you can see, I'm quite emotional with the Proteas losing. If it's not 2023, it's going to have to be 2027. Cricket World Cup 2023 final, 19th November, Australia, India, Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. I've played there on numerous occasions. What a fantastic stadium. There will be, I can't remember how many people can get into that ground. I think about 90,000, if I'm not mistaken. It is an electric atmosphere. It's going to be an incredible final. The very experienced Australian team in the sense of having won a lot of World Cups, knowing how to finish games. They showed that yesterday against South Africa. They just know how to win knockout matches. But they're playing against the steamrolling team from India who've been playing the cricket of their lives. They're in such a great vein of form, but captained by Rohit Sharma. And he's been giving them great starts and just really taking pressure off Gill and also Kohli, who comes in every time, the run rate being 7 or 8, and he can just really get himself in and play to run a ball and play his natural game. So 132,000 spectators. I was completely wrong. I was only out by about 40,000. And to just give you a bit of perspective on that, 40,000. Hold on 1 second, guys. I see my battery is dying because my charger is not connected. But anyway, 40,000 difference. One of the biggest stadiums in South Africa is Supersport Park or Centurion. We take about 25,000 people there. So I just got it wrong by 40,000 there. 132,000 people will be going to cheer on India. I'm sure there will be Australian supporters there, and they will certainly be having a lot of fun. Definitely the favourites will be India. They've been playing the best cricket in this tournament. They deserve to be there in the final. They deserved to finish top of the log. And now it's just a matter of executing and doing the basics well on that final day. I think it's going to be close. I don't think India will run away with it. We know the Australians and how they fight to the end. They did it against Afghanistan, an unlikely win against South Africa as well. There are not a lot of batting lineups that when they got to 7 down, still needing about 20 to 30 runs, not a lot of batting lineups would have kept their cool there. But you saw that composure from Cummins and Stark. I mean, 2 tail enders, right? I know they both can hold the bat, but still the amount of pressure on 2 players that don't often get into that situation. There are a lot of games where they don't even bat, and all of a sudden they're thrown into the arena in a semi-finals and they cross the line for their team under immense pressure. Yes, South Africa gave them some chances, but at the end of the day, they crossed the line, and they know how to cross lines in finals too. They've won it 5 times. They're going for their 6th World Cup, but Team India will be having will have something to say about that. They won in 2011 We will see the cell phone lights on again, that's for sure. It feels meant to be for someone like a Virat, like a Rohit, and all the talented players in that team. So I want to wish both teams all the very best, and hope you guys enjoy that final. I certainly will. And just quickly, I'll cover this question in a minute. The poll on YouTube that we asked for, there were 2,000 votes. Thank you so much for that. Did South Africa's drop catches cost them the game? Yes or no? So what do you guys think? The one was 86%, the other one 14%. So 86% of you said yes, and you're absolutely right. That's how I read it as well. I love talking about the game. I didn't post on X during the game. I was talking on a group. We're about 30 friends that love cricket, and we were talking about every moment. We cover almost every over, and I was just saying the whole time, guys, we're going to get opportunities on this wicket. We will get chances. If we take our chances, we're going to run away with this game. And I called it from the start. We're going to win this. We're going to win this. We're in this game. And the guys were saying, are you out of your mind? Can you not see what just happened? These guys are flying, Warner and Head, like killing us. And the next minute, the ball started slowing down, got a bit drier. The spinners win the game. And it looked like Australia were crumbling. And we got our chances and we didn't take it. So thanks for taking part in that poll. You're absolutely right. Catches win your matches. And it's the funniest thing, because as youngsters growing up, all you want to do is hit sixes, and all you want to do as a bowler is hit those stumps out of the ground. But we forget very often in the field, taking those catches can win you World Cups at the end of the day. Let's put that question up then from MD Sual Ahmed. Is this the best Indian team in World Cup like Aussie in 2003 and 7? So talking about Aussie, they won 27 World Cup games in a row from 1999 to 2011, which is simply incredible. Just to back you up on that stat that you put out there or comment. Having T20 World Cup in the West Indies, it suit Kohli as inquire. If India will win this World Cup, is Virat and Rohit will be a part of T20 World Cup 24? Okay, I understand your question. I think, yes, there's no doubt about it. I think Virat will still play quite a few seasons in the IPL, same with Rohit. So I can't see any reason why they shouldn't be at the 24 World Cup. You need that experience. You need players who still have the heart to want to win World Cups for their country. And Rohit and Virat are certainly those two guys. There's no doubt about it. So I'm pretty sure we'll see them there. Playing like this, I think if you win that World Cup, Virat will get that desire to want to win more. And it's only 1 year later. So 2024, maybe Virat will lift the IPL and the World Cup trophy. Let's see what happens. But there's no doubt I think Virat will still want to play. And then moving on to the next question, who do I think is the most dangerous opener amongst these two, Rohit or Travis Head? It's tough to say. I think Rohit's more consistent. I think Travis is as dangerous. He also goes after the bowling, but I just feel that Rohit playing, particularly in Indian conditions, feeling at home, understanding the new ball on Indian wickets. I think I'm going to have to tip him. Travis is obviously also very dangerous, but not as consistent, I feel. But he did play a big role in last night's victory for Australia. And congrats to Australia for identifying that those first 10 overs when they were batting were going to be very, very important to try and get ahead of the game, which they ended up doing. Moving on to the next one then. Keep posting your questions, guys. I'm going to cover a few. I've got a swim gala to go to. First of all, I'm going to take my baby girl to swimming lessons. That's in about 35 minutes from now, and she's at school, so I'll have to go and fetch her. And then we have a swim gala again. On Fridays, my boys have a swim gala at school, so I'm going to be enjoying that. But just the long and the short is I can't stay for too long. But I want to thank you all for joining in on this chat. It's been a very difficult chat for me. I don't know if you've picked up on it. I'm obviously heartbroken with South Africa's loss. I mean, it's been such a long time that we've struggled in World Cups. I've been a part of 3 of them, a semi-finals, a quarterfinals, and another semi-finals. I've been in touch with this team, and I felt like they were flying under the radar so beautifully, playing such nice cricket. And I just felt like it might just be meant to be this time around for them. It wasn't meant to be. So yeah, it's been a very tough live chat with you guys. It's tough to find the right words. I'm not as jolly as I always am. But still, yeah, I mean, still happy life is great, and I'll feel really bad for the guys because I see all the criticism they're taking, and I know the feeling. It's really horrible to go through that. Who's the threat for Rohit Sharma in the opening spell? Is it Stark or Hazelwood? Both. The long and the short is everyone knows that Rohit Sharma gets out LBW and bowled quite often. So Mitchell Stark will be trying to swing it back into Rohit's pads. If you're watching the game, keep an eye on that, how they will attack the stumps. And Hazelwood, not as much as Stark, but still he gets the ball to stand up. He might look for that outside edge. I think Rohit is going to have a very, very tough challenge. He's got two bowlers. One will try and catch him on his weakness. And then these other tiny little wickets that he has is sometimes when he's out of form, which he luckily isn't, he starts pushing at the ball quite hard. And Josh Hazelwood is the perfect bowler to expose someone who's got quite hard hands at the ball and he tries to nick you off. You'll see at least 2 slips for Rohit when Hazelwood's bowling, and then probably 2 as well for Stark. But Stark, you'll see, will be attacking those pads. So yeah, it's going to be a great battle. And if Rohit can get through that first 6 to 8 overs, I think is in for a big 100 in the World Cup final. That's going to be his big challenge. So let's wait and see what happens there. Pradeep, thank you for the question. Hello, sir, big fan. Why we don't see more players nowadays who can change gears in batting as per situation, like you scored 100 from 31 balls. At the same time, in the test match, you scored 33 from 220. Thank you very much for the compliment. It was one of my strengths. So the nice thing about cricket is every individual is different. Guys have different strengths and different weaknesses. And one of my biggest strengths was that I could change gears and I could identify moments in games where I felt like I got on top of the bowlers or the opposition, and I would really just try and expose them and cash in there. And the vice versa is true as well. I could identify moments where I felt my wicket was in threat, and where I had to find a way to counter or the situation or to absorb the pressure. But there are players like that out there still to this day. We spoke about Meg Lanning, who retired, who had such a fantastic career, and I think she was another player like that, who could identify moments. She had a strike rate of over 90, average of 50. So she would often win games by really pushing hard. Virat's a bit different. You don't often see him score a knock where he gets 180 or 200 strike rate. But he very consistently bats over a 90 strike rate, or very close to 100, which is fantastic. But yes, plenty of them. But we're talking about now, someone like a Maxwell. I think of a David Miller, Heinrich Klaasen quite a few times in this World Cup scored close to 200 strike rate. So there are still players out there like that. 100 of 31 balls is obviously a little bit fast. That's over 300, but you don't often get days like that. It was a bit of a freakish day where things just fell into place for me, and I had a lot of fun out there. Guys, another 1 minute, so I'm going to take one more question. Thank you very much for that, Austin. You have 3 questions. I mean, being a super fan, you're allowed to ask 3. Do you want to see Rachin Ravindra, I would say, and Gerald Coetzee at RCB next year? I would love to see that. I think Gerald Coetzee certainly deserves to get a chance in the IPL. Remember, he plays for Joburg Superstars. I think it's a Superstars, or is it? No. What is the South African T20 SA20 side called? I'm going to be found out here now. No one is allowed to talk about this. Is it Joburg Super Kings? Super Kings, sorry. Obviously, Chennai Super Kings, Joburg Super Kings. So I think Chennai Super Kings, CSK, will be going after Gerald Coetzee. They would want to see him in that yellow jersey. And I don't think Gerald Coetzee suits Bangalore very well, to be honest. He's quite expensive as a bowler, and when you're a little bit like that at the Chinnaswamy, you tend to go for a lot of runs. We've seen over the years Mitchell Stark played there, Tim Southey, quite a few guys who are fantastic opening bowlers, but it's tough to bowl the Chinnaswamy. You need something different. Anyway, the Rachin Ravindra, I hope to see there. I think it's a beautiful, classy left-hand batter. I'll say beautiful, but you know what I mean, his style. I love watching lefties bat because they always look so stylish and elegant. I think he will love the IPL, and I think he deserves a spot. in one of the teams. Hopefully it will be RCB. Second question, do you think Virat and Rohit should open for India in the 2024 T20 World Cup? I don't think they should be opening. I think Virat should always bat at number 3. I've told him this for 15 years now. I've always told Virat, you're on number 3. You're not opening batsman. I know he loves it in the IPL, but I just feel Virat should be batting at 3. Anyway, I don't know if the two of them suit the style for T20 cricket, opening the batting. I think Shubman Gill is your opening batter, someone who can score 150 balls. That's what I see in him. Maybe even faster, who knows? So I would think him and Rohit, and then Virat at 3. That's just my 5 cents. Don't quote me on this, but that's what I think. Your favorite out of Virat's 50 ODI tons, I think this last one and his 51st one on Sunday. That's going to be my favorite. I want to wish India and Australia all the very best, a special good luck to Virat. I know how much this will mean to him, and I'm hoping for ton number 51 come Sunday. To all the Indian fans out there, all the very best. Go support your team in Ahmedabad, and all the Aussie fans, I've got nothing to say to you. I'm just kidding. All the best to both teams. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Hit the notification button and stay in the loop with our next show that will be coming up next week, and also live next week, Friday. I will try for that again. But keep an eye out for my socials around Sunday. I'll be posting about the finals. And follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or X, and Facebook as well. And keep in the loop. Apologies for the emotional 360 Live today. My heart is broken, and I hope you feel sorry for South Africa. Take it easy on the boys. To all your South African supporters out there, specifically those of you who live in South Africa, try and be nice human beings. It's not so hard. All right, lift people up when they feel down. That's what we're doing here on planet Earth. We're not here to break each other down. Lots of love from me to you. I hope you enjoyed 360 Live. Until next week, have a good weekend.